and kind of stress, how that relates to it. And then we will hopefully get into some breakout rooms. All right. So, is this you, Chris? Or is this me? You're on.
I can talk about this.
Go for it.
So the AmeriCorps experience is basically, as kind of like you can see on the graph, kind of an up and down sort of thing, where it's very much like at the very beginning you have like the very like hot, like the very like high, yes, I can do it, like I'm gonna do a great job on my host site, it's gonna be amazing, yes, it's gonna be awesome. Then you get a couple weeks in, you get a couple months in, you're like, huh, this is getting really hard. Like it's hard to see like some stuff that's going on in like the host site, or like seeing like the people that I serve in, and like seeing all of this craziness happen, and I'm not sure if I can do it. So like you gotta get like up on the downhill. We get in December, it's cold, it's dark out by the time it's like, you know, past noon, and no one likes being working in the dark, or waking up in the morning and it's still pitch black. And you kind of get like a little bit of the like, this is gonna be like a really long time. Like I have a lot of stuff that still needs to be done. Like I don't know if my like the stuff I'm doing on my host site is actually doing anything. Like I feel like I'm not really like accomplishing anything, but that's okay. That happens. We're in a crazy situation. But as you go through like the rest of your service here, it gets a little bit better. Like you kind of see some of the fruits of your labor. You see people coming in talking with you, or like your supervisor giving you praise on a project that you worked on. And it is like, okay, I'm actually doing something. This is good. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And then like as you get toward like the year mark, it's like, oh wait, I actually have done something really good for my community that I serve in. Like I'm getting great reviews from my supervisor. Like Meredith is like shoving all of the praise down our throats. Like it's great. Like Chris and Mara are like praising me on what I've been doing for the past, you know, year, and like and my QPR is going to look super great. This is like, I know like this is me trying to be very general about this, but this is kind of how it kind of goes sometimes. Sometimes you just have a really crappy start at the beginning of the year, and like it doesn't seem like you're doing a lot. But when you really think about it and you get to the year mark and you really see like what changes you've done over the course of the year, it's a huge difference. I know last year was a little bit crazy because, you know, COVID happened, but we still, like, we as a cohort last year still got stuff done. Like we still got a lot of stuff done. And I definitely know that I followed this trend of like, by December, I was like, all right, I'm done dealing with high school students. I don't want to talk to anyone other than like, you know, adults, like actual, like full blown adults, not dealing with the high schoolers all the time. But as I really thought of, like, as I kind of went through like January, I was like, okay, this is actually like, I'm actually helping students. Like a lot of students have like, we're applying for FAFSA, applying for scholarships. Like I did see like the fruits of my labor, and you guys will too.
Yeah,
and
definitely agree. Right now we're in the downward slump, and
yeah,
exactly, not a lot of results right now, and the weather is just changing, so people feel kind of crappy all the time. But what you're feeling is totally valid, but it's also part of like a normal cycle. So just know that. Hopefully it reassures you. Yeah. So that's why, because of these up and downs, that self-care is so important. Yeah. So self-care in a lot of ways is good. It's a preventative, right? It helps prevent burnout before it gets to like such a crazy state that you like don't feel like you can do anything at your host site, or you feel, you know, like such negative stressors in your life that you feel like you can't really get anything done. So self-care is super important, and it's not like, not everyone has to, it's not prescriptive, right? Not everyone has to do the same thing. There's lots of different ways, and you know you best. So we just want to be an extra voice in your life saying you are super important and you need to take time for yourself. So that's really just what we wanted to highlight today. Also, in general, in life, there's always lots of stressors. You know, just the daily of life, there's lots of stress, but there's also like stressors, which are like any loss of a loved one, or ending a relationship, or like you can't get any sleep, or mental or physical illness. Those all cause stressors. And then AmeriCorps year on top of it is very hard because a lot of us moved to get to our host site. There we do feel a certain amount of financial strain because we are living at that poverty line. And it's a lot of work for not necessarily a lot of like financial rewards, so we do feel a little bit overworked and underappreciated sometimes. So AmeriCorps has some of these extra stressors, so that's why we want to really highlight that self-care is super important, and we want you all to take care of yourself, because yes, the work we do is important, but you yourself are also super, super important. So we built this little diagram. Go for it, Chris.
So our different types of stress can be broken down into 4 different parts. So we have cognitive, emotional, behavioral, and physical. But before we get into that, we have a very wonderful hand-drawn representation of Snowy, the self-care snowman. So people from last year will recognize Snowy. Snowy is our best way to describe like how we deal with self-care. Again, these like 4 different types of stress can be again like in the cognitive, the emotional, and behavioral. So for the cognitive types of stress, it's like, or like the physical signs of that is like you're constantly worrying, you have like racing thoughts, you have like this, like you forget like something that's really simple, like you forgot to like you forgot to feed the cat, or you like forgot to put water in a kettle so you can make coffee or tea. You lose ability to focus. Like you're sitting at your desk, you're trying to type out something like, but you literally rewrote the same sentence like 4 times, and you just can't like get a decent thought or string of thoughts together. You have somewhat poor judgment, like that's a thing that does happen. Or being really pessimistic or negative. I definitely showed this a lot last year. I was being a little bit more pessimistic about like my work because I was dealing with a bunch of like sometimes really negative high school students, and then that reflected onto me. Like I was getting more pessimistic and negative as I kind of went through the work, but then as I like realized that, I started to work towards it. Emotional. It's like emotional it can be a whole slew of things, but a lot of ones that can happen are like you just feel really overwhelmed. Like you can be overwhelmed just from really simple tasks, or you just have a lot of big overarching tasks that just make it, you just feel overwhelmed all the time. You sort of feel, you avoid other people, you don't really like you just kind of stay by yourself, and you don't really like, for people who are like very can't think of the word, extroverted, that's the word I'm looking for. Extroverted, like people like extrovert people like start avoiding people. That's really not how some people usually think that most extroverted people are. Or you have a lot of misplaced anger or frustration. Like you're angry about something, like you can get angry about something that's not really, like you're angry about something that's happening at work, but then you take that frustration out on someone that like you truly care about, or someone that like doesn't necessarily, is not like the product of your anger or frustration. Another thing is behavioral, like your appetites start to change. Like I definitely recognize this as a huge thing, because I try, like when things like this happen, like, or like I'm stressed, I do like eat like a lot more carbs than I should, or like I drink a lot more soda. I drink like a lot of sugary caffeinated drinks like from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. Not a good idea, not a good thing to do. Procrastinating. I am a huge procrastinator sometimes. Like it is a thing. Like I usually, there's some days where I leave like some big project done at the last minute, and then I have to like work on it for like a straight amount of time, and then I officially just feel like I'm done. I can't do any more work, that sort of thing. And then of course we go into the physical. Like stress can make you have low energy, headaches, like upset stomach, just tension, insomnia, hypersomnia. Like it's all of these things can happen when you are stressed. And with this current situation, like we fully understand that like this may be happening currently right now, and we want to address that as best we can and help you guys like address that and help you guys like provide more care for yourself. That's why we have our wonderful Snowy, the self-care snowman.
Awesome, thanks, Chris. And just like there's all these different types of stress into different categories, there's also like different ways you can implement self-care. So, you know, intellectual self-care, anything that really stimulates your brain or your mind, engages any thinking processes. Emotional self-care, you know, is anything you do to recharge emotionally. And then practical self-care is a lot of stuff like that you can do practically to set you up for success. So, you know, a budget, or maybe cleaning your room or cleaning a closet, making a space better for you. I feel like that's more practical. Social self-care this is recharging socially, however you do that. Like if you're an introvert and you need to recharge, you probably need to just stay home. If you're an extrovert, maybe it's setting up that Skype session with your group of friends or your weekly D&D game, whatever that may be. Spiritual self-care, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be religious. However you feel spiritually connected to the world, to yourself. There's lots of different ways you can do that. And physical self-care, you know, just moving, getting endorphins in your body, really feeling your body and being grounded is how I do that one a lot. So this is just a brief overview of all the different types. And like, we're not going to shout out a million different ways you can do self-care, because you all are probably doing self-care yourself already. And we just want to give space and time for everybody to chat with one another and, you know, hear from everyone else and get tips and tricks and really just, you know, talk to each other, because we're virtual and we don't get to do that a lot. So we wanted to do some breakout rooms and give everybody a chance to share. And then when we come back, we'll do some share outs. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm about to put you guys in the breakout rooms. It's about 4-ish, 3 to 4 people in a breakout room. So just chat about what you're doing to take care of yourself, what your plans are for the winter when it gets cold and there's never sunlight because we live in Michigan. And just kind of be prepared to kind of share back out some of the things that you discussed so that the rest of the group can steal your really good self-care ideas and we can all take care of each other and ourselves and get through the Vista year. So I'm going to open the rooms. We're probably going to take 15 minutes or so to kind of chat, and then we'll bring you back and share out and then do a brief housekeeping and get you on your way for a Wednesday. So I'm going to open the rooms now. For people that actually listen to the recording, we're bringing people back from the breakout rooms. But now you just get to look at my face. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So I guess I can handle this part if you guys don't want to. Chris, Mars, you guys want to handle sharebacks? Okay.
Well, you're already talking, so.
Yeah, you were already talking, so we feel awkward to take the mic from you, Meredith.
Oh, thanks, because we all know that I need a bigger opportunity to talk. So who wants to share back out? So I know that you guys had some breakout rooms. Hopefully you guys had some good conversations. What do you guys do to kind of build up your reserves? Like, you know, Donna said at one point that we should give out of the excess of our like cup of availability and not be giving from the actual base, that we should do so well at building up our capacity that it should be from the excess that we give to others. So what do you guys do to build up your capacity to serve? Feel free to put it in the chat or unmute.
One thing that my group talked about is, especially with working from home, it can be hard to kind of separate that work like home balance. So just having times to shut off your work computer, close your tabs, whatever it is, just to basically say like, yeah, I'm unavailable. Even if you get an email past like 5 o'clock, just not respond to it until the next morning.
That's super critical. I think especially it's so hard to, it's so easy to just be constantly like 30% plugged in all the time, which is super draining. I know Chris just instituted like, especially like being very aware that just to keep work, all documents at work, you know, like with work, keep all documents at home with home, which is good technologically anyway. But again, psychologically to say, hey, you know, even if my personal computer has a better webcam and I can zoom more easily on that, there's something really valuable about having work at work and home at home.
Yeah, to echo that, it's fair. Definitely like finding that balance of like what is work and what is home is a real thing. And also just in general, even when I took I took like a day off, I still was like checking my email, checking everything. You have to set the balance of turning off. Yeah. And of course, Mara now has a cute cat, so everyone's gonna see the cute cat. And but anyway, really and truly, just when you say that you're going to take a day off and not check your email, turn off your phone, or like go away from your computer, turn off your phone, turn off notifications. It will definitely make your vacation a lot more like what it should be, a vacation.
Nice. What else do people do to kind of build up their capacity? You can also type in the chat if you are not a talker this morning.
I can say something from our group. We talked about how some of us miss karaoke. So like we miss a little bit of that social aspect. So June's been practicing, so she's ready when they open back up. And, you know, speaking of, you know, pub related activities, also like trivia. And now there's like virtual trivia ones. So we were thinking it'd be cool to do that. I haven't personally done it, but I think it would be fun.
Low-key karaoke is fun. I will admit to this. It's really fun.
Yeah, Roxanne's 3 and 3 rule. Everybody should follow it.
3 drinks.
I don't know if it's totally work appropriate because it, yeah. Yeah, before you go up on that stage, I agree.
I like it. Nice. Any other things that you found to be helpful with managing stress and managing, especially right now, you know, we are in a stress soup, right? Like global pandemic, major elections, working from home, serving as a Vista, like add it to the list, right? And so anything specifically about, you know, making sure that you're staying safe in quarantine and staying mentally healthy too? You guys all take care of yourself. Somebody share. I'm confident that you guys are all great at it.
So one thing that I talked about in my group was I work out, like even at the beginning of quarantine, well, even before quarantine, like I was in the gym like 3-4 times a week. And then quarantine hit and it was just like, okay, well, how do I continue doing that? Because that's how for my first Vista year, that's also how I was kind of managing my stress. So I was like, well, how do I kind of continue to do that? And I was also in Miami, so big difference in March. So I would like, walk around the block. I went and bought weights for my house. I worked out inside, and even though gyms are open here, still a little hesitant to go back. So luckily, like one of my family members, they have workout equipment at their house. So I'm at their house quite often, working out, just relieving stress. If like I have a long day or like a long, hard day, I just need to like get something out of my system, I'll go and work out and just do that. Yeah.
I like it. Well, it's kind of like going to the gym if you're going to a different place. Like that's a win. I like it.
Similar to
Go ahead,
Delicia, I've got a collection of like 4 or 5 minute workout videos. And so I'll take that as a break. It's like 4 minutes of arms or 4 minutes of standing abs or something. And that just sort of gets blood flowing and a little more relaxed.
It's a good way to like break up the day too. Cause again, it's only 4 minutes. You're not taking like 3 hours at lunch or anything. It's just like, I can go do this and shift. It's really smart. I like that a lot.
We're all about making home a fun place with some of the decorating. Halloween here started in September because that's my daughter's very, very favorite holiday, that lives with me. And I said, well, let's put it up now. We don't have to wait. It's been a crappy year. Let's just do it. And she just was so excited. And so it's been fun. And now she's ready to put the Christmas decorations up. And I usually don't put them up quite this early, but sure, why not? I think we need to grab the joy that we can as we can. And it's really such a simple thing and harmless. And it's a lot of work to put up. So let's enjoy it for as long as we can. I think some of that little stuff can be fun.
Totally agree. I like it. Well, thanks for sharing, guys. It's much appreciated. I think everybody's got their own way of staying healthy and staying well, but I find it fascinating to find out what other folks do. So thanks for sharing. Again, please prioritize that. Please prioritize taking care of yourself this year, because it can be really easy to just burn out and to give all of yourself to a project or to your nonprofit or to the people that you serve. But it's really hard to effectively serve, especially for a full year, if you are totally burned out and you're totally wrecked in November. So be aware of that and make that a priority, because I think that it's true for a lot of us is it's not always a priority, because it's easier to just give of ourselves and to focus on other people. But know that that's a really critical part of a Vista year. So great. Mara, if you want to share the housekeeping slide, we're going to touch base really quick on a couple things. As a heads up, you guys should all be receiving packages at some point, maybe this week. They're mailed out, but obviously the USPS is working pretty hard right now. So they're mailed out. You should be receiving. It's a little just like a self-care reminder, and a reminder that we're thinking about you and we want you guys to be well. So keep an eye out. If you don't get it by the end of next week, let us know, and it may have gotten lost in the mail, and let us know, and we can probably resend it for you. But that being said, we have a couple housekeeping points. So big touch point this Friday. So by midnight, your QPR number 1 is due in CVent. Please don't do it at midnight, because that would suck for you, and that would be very disappointing for the start of your weekend. But note that your QPR 1 is due this Friday. These are really critical for our reporting to our, oh, that's really awkward. Weird. Yeah, the St. Ignace Postal Service is incredible. It's ridiculous. Also, I mailed it out at 5:30 yesterday, Roxanne, just so you're aware. So that is ridiculous. Kudos, St. Ignace Postal Service. Anyway, so the QPR one is due in CVent on Friday. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. It can be a little bit tricky if you're looking at your performance measures and you are like, do I do this? Please reach out to us. Please reach out to your supervisor. If you've reached out to us previously, let us know. We're working on it. We're reaching out to a couple of supervisors to verify performance measures and to shift things around. So if you're one of those waiting, don't worry about it. We'll fix it. We can shift things around. But for most of you, it should be pretty straightforward. We recommend, again, just as a reminder, please complete your template first, talk it through with your supervisor, and then complete it in CVent, because CVent times out after a half an hour, and it would be really sad if you lost all that work. That'd be real disappointing. So please note that. Again, please reach out to either Chris, Mara, or I if you have any questions about it. We want to make sure that this is a pretty smooth, easy process for you, but it can be pretty daunting at the beginning. Other points, November 19th is the end of the AmeriCorps member celebration. Sorry, it is the AmeriCorps member celebration. We will be likely registering you tomorrow for it. I'll be sending out an email with the follow-up for the webinar with some more details about that. If you are unable to make it, let us know, but we're likely going to register most folks. It's optional, but it's encouraged. It's a really great way to learn more about AmeriCorps in the state. They also do often breakout rooms and speakers that are really great. So it's a good way to kind of add to your PD for pretty cheap. For reference, you don't pay anything for this. So it's optional, it's free for you, and you're encouraged to attend. November 18th is the end of your Acumen course. So the end of your official human-centered design course. Please turn in everything by the end of November 18th. Shortly after that, we will be putting you into groups for your year-long project. We're reaching out again by the end of this week to host site supervisors, and then I believe you're going to be copied on the email as well, to make a choice between site-based group projects and group-based group projects. You'll find more out about this in the email, but know that that's something that's coming down the pipeline and something that you're going to be thinking about in the next couple of weeks. For now, please focus on completing your Acumen course, but be thinking if you'd like to do a site-based human-centered design project or a group-based. We also, again, friendly reminder, we have timesheets due and monthly report due on November 30th. Please turn them in. Please copy your supervisor on timesheets. It's a really great way to keep them in the loop. And then make sure you sign up for Slack. Again, this is optional for vistas, but it's a good way to be connected. It's a really great way to reach out to Chris, Mara, or I if you have a quick question and you're like, I could text him or call him, but Slack's pretty easy. We're trying to expand that. So again, if you're using your QPR, feel free to Slack us and ask us. We're pretty much on constantly. It's probably the quickest way to get a response from, at least from me, and I think probably from Chris and Mara as well. So please continue to utilize that. We're going to continue to build that out in the next couple of weeks, but you're strongly encouraged to use it because it's a great way to stay connected. So that is all that we have on our list. Yes, so for this month, due 11/1, so like the end of October, there's no monthly report due, it's just the timesheet because we're leading into a QPR. So if you didn't turn in your monthly report for October, that's good because you didn't have one. And if you did, kudos, you prepped your monthly report early. So does anybody have any questions that we'd like to touch base on before we let you all go for the rest of the day?
If you haven't submitted your timesheets to us, please send that to us.
Please do, for sure. All right, anything else that we need to touch base on?
Okay. A monthly
Again,
report for November due? Yes, no, maybe. There's some confusion.
Yep. So okay. So yeah, there was some confusion in the chat. So I'm going to try and lay it out. Please let me know if this isn't clear. So you should have turned in your timesheet for the month of October. There is not a monthly report for the month of October because we just did a QPR, or we're in the process of doing a QPR. So for the month of November, so due 12/1, or whatever the nearest 12/1 is, your timesheet and your monthly report are due. So both of those are due for November. That's in your calendar. So your program calendar is also on the website. But note that for November, you have a QPR, which you're going to complete. And then you have a monthly report and a timesheet due at the very end of November / like December 1st kind of thing. Does that make sense? I think clear as mud. Check your weekly update for due dates. That's also a good place to kind of gut check if you're like, is something due? Check your weekly update. Okay, so any other last questions that we can help clarify, or we can touch base on before we jump off? Perfect. All right, well, please have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. Please reach out if we can do anything to help. And stay well and stay healthy. We will see you. We'll see you soon. I'm sure that we'll see you at some point in November. Time flies. All right, have a great rest of your day. Please reach out if you have any questions on your QPR. Thanks, everybody.
I'm ready.